Hey guys, welcome back to Vanguard Motor Sales. I'm Greg, and this is a 77 Lincoln Continental. This baby's got less than 16,000 original miles. It looks like it's showroom new, and you're gonna love checking it out. So go to our website at vanguardmotorsales.com. We'll put it up on the lift so you can see just how nice the bottom side is. We're gonna raise up the hood, take a look at the power. We're gonna fire it up for you. We're gonna get out and drive it. We're gonna look inside the trunk. We're gonna show you everything you wanna see so you can make a great decision on your Lincoln investment. So come on up, we'll fire it up for you right now. So look at this beautiful Lincoln. Now this is all original, guys. That grille is original. That chrome is 1977. That tells you this car has lived indoors its entire life. That front bumper chrome, that's the front bumper chrome that Henry Ford put on this car. Look at all the detail here, how clean everything is. Those moldings, no dents, dings in those moldings whatsoever. Look down the side of this thing. I tell you, if you can see that far, you almost need a set of binoculars to see the back of this thing. It's so long. Doors are fitting great, operating nice and smooth, just like a Lincoln should. That's original Ford sticker there. You can see the door jambs are nice and clean, and look at this interior. Looks brand spanking new, guys. Carpet looks great. Of course, seat belts in the front and in the rear. I don't think anybody ever sat in that back seat back there. Look at that carpeting back there. It's still got the original floor mats in it. Headliner looks good. Armrests all look like they're in good shape. I mean, the car is pristine. It was taken care of its entire life. Look at that. It's still got the starting instructions up there on the visor. Isn't that amazing? What a cool car we've got right here. And of course, when I was a kid, this is what you had to have. When my dad, all he ever talked about is Lincoln, 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 man. He liked the Mark V's. These Continentals are really badass. We've had a lot of luck with these cars. Brings back a lot of memories, a lot of grandpas, a lot of dads, everybody had to have a Lincoln. Matter of fact, one of our guys here at the shop was just telling about his aunt who had one of these. They used to drive it around and have a blast. You can see the chrome on the back bumpers, also original. Look at that tailpiece right there with the Lincoln emblems in it. I tell you, just think if you tried to find one of those things aftermarket. Of course, you're not gonna find one. The only one you're gonna find that nice is on a car like this that was well kept throughout the years. And look at this. Isn't that neat? One of the first things that used to fall off of these cars if they get a lot of use is this right here. And this one is in pristine shape. Look at that trunk. You could get about 14 people in there if you're going to the drive-in. All kind of room in that trunk. And again, it doesn't look like anything was ever put in there. When you look down the side of the car, she's nice and straight. She looks beautiful. Now at Vanguard Motor Sales, we're not consignment dealers. That means that we own every one of these vehicles here at Vanguard. So we spend the time to check them out before we buy them. When we do get them here, we inspect them so we can answer all your questions when you call at 248-974-9513. Now, I'm involved in buying every one of the cars here at Vanguard, so what that means to you is you're getting my experience helping you pick out your dream car. All right, let's take this Continental for a ride. Anybody ready to go for a boat ride? Because I got the Queen Mary right here. This thing isn't a boat, it's a ship. What a sweet ride it is too. Only, it's got less than 16,000 original miles on it, and it drives, look at that, one finger, just like it did back in the day in '77 when everybody loved them. I tell you what, I still love them. I tell the story all the time. You guys are going to get tired of listening to me, but we had that big old Mercury marquee. Basically looked just like the front end of this thing. and it was a blast to drive. Of course, I was just learning how to drive back then when Dad had that car, and I drove the heck out of it. I loved it. It was black, and man, did we spend some time waxing that car. Now, at Vanguard Motor Sales, we can ship this Lincoln to you anywhere in the world. You just call Tom at 248-974-9513, and he'll tell you just how easy it is to ship this car to you. If you want some help with financing, we've got help there too. We've got 3 bankers we work with. We can set you up with financing, no problem whatsoever. We can get your dream parked in your drive. Of course, everybody who sees this car cranks their head around, checks it out. Can't believe what kind of shape this thing's in. Definitely lived indoors its entire life. It's been babied its entire life. Now look at the speedo here. See, as you go up, it turns white from black. Isn't that cool? I mean, just as driving just as smooth as can be. Brakes feel good. It's got tilt wheel, which is cool. It's actually on the turn signal. You push the turn signal stock to the forward position, and it actually tilts the wheel for you. Got the cruise control stuff here on the steering wheel. Seat adjuster over here on the armrest. I mean, it's a Lincoln, guys, and it's a Continental. Top of the line. Tell you what, I'm thinking about driving to Florida. This thing is comfortable as can be. Now, we're right outside the Motor City. We are in Plymouth, Michigan. We're only 20 minutes from the airport. So if you'd like to fly in, we'll come down to the airport and pick you up. We actually have customers fly in the morning all the time, do their business, buy their cars. We ship their cars to them, and then they fly right back home the same day. That's how quick we can get you in and out. Now here's our building right here. We're at 15100 Keel Street, and we're about to do something nobody else in the industry does. We're gonna put this car up in the air so you can check out the underside. Then we're gonna pop the hood, see what's making the power. We're gonna show you everything you need to see so you can make a great decision on this Lincoln.
All right, guys, this is the underside of our 1977 Lincoln. Unfortunately, Greg did have to take a step out, so I'm going to finish the video for him on the underside. So starting from the back forward, underneath our bumper here, you can see it's got some of the schmutz that kind of runs along the whole underside of the bumper. What that actually is, it's not road grime. It's actually part of the original factory undercoating that they sprayed on these things to try to prolong the life of them a little bit. And considering it's the factory, like a factory thing, we saw no reason to take it off of there, quite frankly. So anyway, moving forward to that, the frame rail looks like it's in really good shape. You know, you don't see any pitting or anything like that on it. You can reach up inside of it here, and I don't feel of anything that, you know, any dirt or anything like that that implied that it got packed full of mud. And once again, it's not surprising considering the low miles of this car, something like 16,000 miles on this car. You can see here that our I guess trunk drop downs are in really good shape as well. The nice crisp lines from like where the machining stamped all of it. The gas tank here, more than likely to the original gas tank. Of course, it looks like it's in good shape. Once again, with the low miles on this car, this isn't something you're going to see with a lot of pitting or anything like that. This big rubber bump stop here, I'm assuming was to prevent it puncturing the gas tank in the case of a rear end. I'm assuming that's what that is. Something else I'm going to point out as well is it looks like the exhaust has been freshened up to a certain point. But it actually has the original factory catalytic converters on it, which is really, really cool. Moving forward of all of that, the floor pan, excellent shape on this thing. Once again, spot weld, spot weld, spot weld, all the way through here. This is all original factory metal, and once again, it has very low miles on this car, so no big surprise. Looking over here, the frame rail here looks like it's in excellent shape all the way up inside of here, which would be a popular rot spot for these because there's not a whole lot of ventilation up in here, and that's where things get packed. It looks like it's in nice shape up in there. Over here, I'll give you the same tour, and it looks like it's in good shape. Brake line on this side, gas line on this side, both of which look like they're in nice shape. Now, once again, we do have the nice like double U-joint set up here on the rear end here and over here. And speaking of the rear end, before I forget about it, that is a Ford 9-inch rear end, not the 9 3/8. It is actually a 9-inch. 2.75 to 1 gear ratio. It does have limited slip in it. And that was actually, judging by the tag, it's actually right for this car. It actually is numbers matching and everything. No big surprise there. You've got your big, I guess that's like a shock balance, like a shock absorber that they bolt to the back of the transmission. I think it's to reduce a little bit of the vibration and whatnot. Once again, Lincoln, luxury car, not surprising to see it. Transmission, this is a Ford C6 3-speed automatic transmission. I do believe this to be numbers matching for the car. Now your part number on this is going to be a D5 part number, but that's okay because I looked on top of the transmission where the VIN code is with a little special camera that we have, and I could see 7Y, and typically 7, I believe, the starting of the VIN there would actually specify the year on this. So I believe this to be actually a 1977 transmission. The rest of it is really difficult to see, but I do believe this is the right transmission for the car. Moving forward to that, you can see here, I mentioned the catalytic converters. We got a D7 part number on these with a Ford stamp on them. That's all cool stuff, good stuff to see. If I didn't mention it yet, and I will mention it now that I'm looking at the front brakes. Drum brakes in the rear, Vanguard, we're just as good at drum brakes as we are at disc, if not better. So you can be assured that those will be put together right. Modern shops, that skill is starting to go to the wayside as far as drum brakes go. You see a lot of people putting them together wrong nowadays. Front suspension, everything looks like it's in good shape. It looks like a lot of this stuff is actually original, and there would be no reason to replace it given the miles on the car. Being 1977, everything was still serviceable stuff, so you had grease fittings on a lot of these parts. Lower control arm bushings look like they're in good shape. Springs look like they're, they're original. Looks like we have our sway bar here. Looks like original type sway bar end links. I mean, all of it. Everything here looks like just as it should be. Disc brakes on the front. Moving forward of all of that, underside of our 460 looks really, really nice. Moving forward of that even, front frame rail here, especially this one right here where these strut bars go in, this would fill up with dirt. You'd get the rot line right along the bottom of that, and there's no dirt in there. It looks nice and solid. You can see all of your welds on your frame are nice and crisp. Overall, really nice. This car has been very well kept. And then to finish everything off with our undercarriage tour, you can see here, factory undercoat underneath the bumper along with the date stamp right there. Really, really nice. Let's go take a look at wheels and tires. All right, guys, for wheels and tires, we do have the original hubcap, which I believe to be the original steel wheel behind all of that. As far as the tire size goes, we have 230-15X, whatever that would mean. These are a little bit of an older tire. I would believe this would be right around the vintage of the car. Now, these would be fine if you wanted to just store the car or occasionally drive it, but if you really planned on putting some real miles on this, I would probably recommend you change these. They do show their age just a little bit. Let's go take a look at the rear. All right, guys, back here we have the same good-looking hubcap, wheel behind the hubcap, and tire. Same note about the tires back here. And something else I'd like to give you guys a look at is you can get a good shot of the body from the bottom. You can see that all of these trim pieces here, a lot of the time they would get nice and dented up, and they all seem to be here. All look pretty much to be 1977 correct as far as panel alignment goes. I mean, I don't believe any of this stuff has been off of here. You're not seeing any bubbles or any crap in your doors. And the lower rocker panel here looks like, the trim piece here looks like it's in good shape as too. No dents looking all the way down it. Overall, very nice. Let's go take a look at the numbers matching V8 under the hood. All right, guys, under the hood we have a 460 V8. It is actually the numbers matching 460 V8 for this car. I've personally seen the VIN code on the back of that cylinder head, or excuse me, back of the engine block where the cylinder head comes up to it. It's all there and it's all right. Now, something else I'd like to point out here is that you can look on the side of this thing here. We've got the factory sticker, all the factory stampings or paint marks and whatnot. Over here we've got the same stuff over here, Ford valve covers. Underneath this air cleaner here, which is like the original type air cleaner, even with the FL1A Motorcraft oil filter induction noise silencer, we have a Motorcraft 4300 4-barrel, which is exactly what this car should have on it. It does have a D7 tag on it, which implies that it is the correct carburetor for this car. Outside of all that, looks like original Duraspark spark plug wires. For those of which you do not know, Duraspark is the system that this distributor is, and it's basically a pointsless ignition system, a magnetic trigger. It's right when this stuff started to come out, and that's what replaced the points that we're also used to replacing and setting on our cars. As far as our coil goes, looks like you get like the factory connector and a little wire safety thing for that as well. You can see that it's got all the original vacuum hose set up with all of this crazy stuff to basically take the place of a modern car's computer, and it does all that sort of stuff like increase idle when it gets hot and increase timing when it gets warm, all that sort of stuff. It's all right here. This is how they used to do it before the computers came out, is with vacuum lines, and it all actually worked pretty well when it does work. Outside of that, we have looks like a little more modern battery in the thing, hold down doing its job. Looks like all the vacuum canisters are here. This car does have AC. You can see all the AC setup over here. Now, of course, it being a Lincoln, we do have power steering and we do have power brakes. It is not a vacuum system, but it is actually a Hydro Boost style system, which actually uses the power steering pump to make the power brakes work. Outside of all of that, you can see that all the original stuff in the car, as far as like your windshield wiper bottle, overflow tank. Once again, more vacuum containers, like A very common thing with these cars. The vacuum ran everything. And overall, it's just pretty darn original under here. You can see not much has changed from 1977. It's got all the original stickers, all everything. Once again, D7 AE, 1977, which is what that means. Very, very nice. Everything looks nice and original. Overall, if you'd like to have this car parked in your driveway, make sure to call Tom with the number below and let Vanguard Motor Sales park this Lincoln in your driveway.